Hey guys, Matt here from Rect Brewery. I'm going to do another grain to glass series. This is the black IPA that I brewed a couple of, well, it's been a month and a half or so ago now. Just haven't had a chance to cam up and talk about it. So got some brew day footage for you. Go ahead and check that out and then we'll come back and talk about this. So see you soon. All right, it's a brew day. We're going to mill some grains. A little bit of a bigger beer today. It's about, gonna be about 7%. Back in a minute. All right, let's see what we got here. Nice bucket of milled grains. All right, recipe today, we have some 12 pounds of Carolina Gold. We got a little bit of Vienna in here. There's going to be some flaked rye, which I'm going to put right on the top. Got some chocolate in here, and I'm going to also try one of the new ones from Carolina Malt House, the Sunset Wheat, which I guess is their version of Midnight Wheat. It's supposed to impart some cocoa, some chocolate flavors in there, so I'm going to add that into here as well. I kind of was on the fence between chocolate rye and the Sunset Wheat, but I've been really interested to try all these Carolina malts, so I try to put as much as into this beer as I can. So let's go ahead and get it in the mash tun. All right, now I've never actually used flake rye before. Hell, I've never used Midnight Wheat before, so this will be new to me. I'll just even this out, and then go ahead and get the salts ready and put that right on the top. All right, trying more of these wide angle shots while I'm brewing. You guys can tell me if you like this format better or not. I figured it's get a little more view out of what's going on here in the brewery. All right, so I just have my, I don't know if you can see this or not, but got my scale here. Start measuring out these salts. For this one, we're trying to go with a 3-to-1 SO4 sulfate to chloride. That way we get a little more out of the hops, because this is a IPA. This is, by the way, I don't know if I called that yet. This is a black IPA. Calling this one Black Old Sun IPA. So let's see, we have salt additions for this one. We're going to put in 3.3 grams of calcium chloride. Looks like we have 8.2 of gypsum. And lastly, some Epsom salt. 1.5 grams of that. All right. Put this in the mash tun. Go ahead and deliver the water. For this recipe, we need 6 gallons of water in the mash tun. Go ahead and deliver that now. Set our clip so we know where to finish here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About there. Mash real good here. Oh yeah, that's nice and dark. That'll be nice. According to Brewfather, this is supposed to be about a 35 SRM, so yeah, nice dark black IPA. Black IPA. Looking like in here, and we'll close it up. We're mashing at 152 today. It's a pretty good size mash tun on this grain bill. Nice dark color there, recirculating. Of course, it'll clear out over time. Go ahead and close this up. And I just topped up the HLT, so this will balance out very quickly. When we get to that 152 that we're after, go ahead and start the mash timer. That'll just take a couple minutes to balance out. Usually doesn't take long at all, maybe about 5 minutes. And here in a little while longer, we'll go ahead and take a pH reading and see where we're at. Real quick, I wanted to show you guys this. So definitely check your pumps. You can see that the gasket started getting teared in the middle there. You know, every few months, every few brews, I pull apart these pumps completely. I did that after the last brew. Get them a good cleaning, take all the fittings off, redo all the Teflon tape, everything. I did all that stuff with all my fittings, and it just makes sure everything's nice and clean. Again, I do that every few months or so, just to make sure, or every few brews or so, just to make sure everything really is clean, get all the nooks and crannies nice and clean. And yeah, good time for inspection, see if anything needs to be replaced. So that's the only casualty I found in the process. It wasn't leaking, but it was on its way. So this is why we carry spare parts, and yeah, we should be good for a while longer. Actually, I think that gasket, I probably haven't replaced these gaskets on these pumps for a good couple of years, so they'll last a while. All right, looks like pH pretty much right where I wanted to be, right around the 5.3 mark. And I think I actually might have found my problem. Now this is just one sample. I'll have to find out over the next couple of brews, but look at that. Brewfather said 5.37, and I actually got 5.34. So I think I might have found my problem, but we will see over the next couple of brews if that's true or not. This is the first brew that I've brewed in a while without any acid malt. In fact, years, because I usually use acid malt. Now, of course, on the darker beers I don't, but I don't really need much. But you know, with this one I didn't use any, and I didn't need any. So I think I'm going to go back to using lactic acid, because I think Brewfather was not calculating my acidulated malt correctly. Maybe the Wireman acidulated malt is a little bit more acidic than what they figure in these numbers. But hey, you know what? This is good enough for me. This gives me a more realistic expectation. So I'm going to roll with this for the next couple of brews and see if it makes any difference. But look at that color. Nice and dark for a black IPA. That'll be nice. All right, now it's time to start sparging. All right, so we got the sparge fully in swing now. Filling up that boil kettle. Sparge water going in here. Go ahead and close this up. Maintain that heat. And we're just going down. We got 3.7 gallons going in for the sparge. We'll be able to fill this up to the volume. So, back in a little bit. And I don't know if you've been hearing that background noise, but been watching Exit 12 Homebrew, Nick, watching his 1 hour, 15-minute video. Figured that would be appropriate for a brew day. Been watching a couple of these videos and been watching his in there in the background as I'm going. So shout out to our buddy there at brewtubers, Exit 12 Nick. Always putting out the good content. Cheers. All right, so while I was waiting for the boil kettle to fill up, I went ahead and started setting up all the hops. So we got quite a bit of a hop schedule here today. So let's go ahead and go through this. I'm trying to go through the hops that I have been sitting on for a little while. Like I said, I typically get rid of my hops after about 3 years. So this stuff here is within a couple of years. A couple of them actually getting up closer to that 3-year mark. So I definitely want to cycle them through. So here's our schedule for today. Our 60-minute edition is going to be ½ ounce of Simcoe. Our 30-minute edition is going to be ½ ounce of Bitter Gold and a ½ an ounce of Simcoe. At 15 minutes, we're going to do a ½ ounce of Simcoe and a ½ ounce of Bitter Gold. At 10 minutes, we're going to do ½ ounce of Citra. And at flame out, we're going to put in a ½ ounce each of Citra, Bitter Gold, and Simcoe. And then this I put aside. This is what I'm going to use for dry hop. I'm going to re-vacuum seal this again for after fermentation. And what I'm going to do is what I've done in the last couple of brews during cold crash. So I usually cold crash for 3 days. So during cold crash, I'll go ahead and throw these hops in for dry hop, so they'll dry hop for 3 days before I keg. So, see you at the 60-minute mark. All right, we're at the boil, so we're gonna go ahead and add in our 60-minute hop addition. Boom. All right, time for the 30-minute boil addition. Got a 1/2 ounce each of Bitter Gold and Simcoe. Boom. All right, 15 minutes means the next hop drop, another 1/2 ounce of Bitter Gold and Simcoe. All right, 10 minutes means the next set of hops. I'm gonna first do this. Usually put this in around 15 minutes, but we're a little early. It's okay. Yeast Nutrient and Whirlfloc. Just go ahead and rinse that off. There we go. The hops in there. So here we have going to be a 1/2 ounce of Citra. 10 minutes. All right, we're down to the last minute, so we're gonna go ahead and add in the rest of the hops. It should be, let's see, 1/2 ounce each of Bitter Gold and Simcoe again. I'll put those in. Lots and lots of hops have gone into this beer, and man, it has definitely changed the aroma. It went from smelling like a bit of a chocolatey, toasty, malty beer to, you know, halfway through, starting to smell more and more like hop aromatics. I love it. All right, well, we're out of time, so we're gonna go ahead and turn off the heat. We'll close this up. So just crack this a little bit there, and we're gonna start chilling. No whirlpool for this one. Just gonna go right into the chilling. There we go. And be moving it to the fermenter shortly. Okay, so we're gonna be fermenting in the keg this time. Being that this is an IPA and has a lot of hops in it, I figured it just makes sense to pressure ferment it. So I'm gonna do that. So I haven't done this in a minute, so bear with me. But we have our floating dip tube contraption. This is the Float It 2.0 from, I picked it up off Amazon. Does a great job. I've used it a few times now. So just putting that screen on here with the weight and everything, so that when we do go to move this over, it will have clean beer, is the idea. Give you guys see if I can give a close-up of that. I don't know if that's going to come through on the camera or not. Just the light. Yeah, probably not. But believe me, it's on there. It's on that little dip tube there. I shortened the dip tube for this to work properly. All right, so got that in there. I think we're good. So let's go ahead and start transferring the beer. We're already cooled down. We're already 70 degrees in the kettle. That is plenty cold enough. Okay, we'll get the tilt in there. And we'll put our top on. It's all been sitting in this star sand, so it'll be fine. I might have overfilled this a bit. Usually when I do the pressure fermenting, I usually set the, it's a 5-gallon keg, and I usually put it around 4 to 4.5. We might be a little above that, so hopefully we don't get a blow off. If we do, I'm gonna have to clean out my spunding valve again. That's all right. But I haven't used this in a minute, so it'll be interesting to see how this comes out. So we have the gas line, which is over here. Stick that on there. And I believe the last time I did this, I have it set to 10 or 15 PSI, so we'll check this out in a little while. Oh, we're not gonna get anything going in this if we don't put the yeast in. Let's do that. derp. Need to put the yeast in. All right, yeast of this choice is going to be the Imperial Juice A38. This is something that came to me from one of our brewtubers hauls. So as you can see, the manufacturer date is pretty old. So it's April of 2024. So what are we at now? It's about 9 months old, 8 or 9 months old. Yeah, about 9 months old. So it should be okay. I've used yeast that's been older before, but well, we'll see. And I'm even taking even more of a gamble here because I did not do a starter, which I usually also do. So we're gonna just throw caution to the wind on this beer and hope that it comes out. Hope that it comes out. If it doesn't, I got some Juggernaut in the fridge. I got some SO5 in the fridge. I have some options. I can make it work. But we'll try it with the Imperial first. See what we get. I've never used, no, that's not true. I've used this juice. This is probably the second time I've now used this yeast. So I'm interested to see how this will come out on this particular beer. Just gonna clean up the top a little bit from spillage. Everything's closed. Got our spunding valve on there. Let's go over to the ferment chamber. All right, got the ferment, or the spunding valve is set to 15, I believe, but we'll see. Gonna put the heating belt on this. Got the heating, let me turn him off for a second. I don't know how this mic's picking up with him talking in the background. So got everything set up here. Got the spunding valve going. I hope it's set to somewhere between 10 and 15. If it's not, we'll have to adjust it. I'm gonna put the heating belt on this. Got the ferment chamber set to 70 degrees. So we'll see how that holds up. All right, we are off and running from the looks of it. It is now Wednesday. Brew day was Sunday, so it's 3 days later. It looks like it's sitting around 11 at the moment. I don't hear any hissing, so that might be where this thing is actually set at. I remember last time I used this, which was months ago, it was set between 10 and 12. So that's probably where it's gonna land. I'll keep an eye on this and adjust as need be. I know that, you know, just from stuff I've heard and read, not to let it go past 15, and even that's not ideal. I could be wrong. You guys can let me know in the comments. But you know, anywhere from 8 to 12 is what I've been told is an ideal range. So I'm trying to keep it there. But yeah, we're definitely moving because it was 1068 when I brewed it, and now it's 10 points lower. So it is definitely going along. And you know, just a little PSA for you guys. I mean, hey, this A38 juice yeast, I got it over the summer last year. The date on the package was April. So it's now been, what, 9 months since the package date. Yeah, so clearly it will work. It's just, you know, a little bit of a slow start. And I didn't use a starter heater, which is something else I don't normally do. So that's, between all these things, a little bit of a perfect storm for a slow start, a little bit of a lag. Not the end of the world. We'll relax, drink a homebrew, and carry on. So, terminal for quite a while. I was actually on vacation. So I'm just getting back, checking it out now, and we're still sitting right around 11 to 12 psi, and we're ready to dry hop. So what I have here is my stainless steel screen, still full of star sand. What I'll be doing is I'll be putting the hops into here and delivering it straight to the keg. But before I do that, I would like to take a sample and see what it's like now. And of course that has plenty of pressure in it, so it shouldn't be a problem. Let's get rid of the star sand. Alright. And let's see what it's like. Now of course it's going to be warm, but it is carbonated. Actually pretty well carbonated, so won't be any issues at all with this when I'm ready to keg it. I'll let that die down just a minute. But what we have here is our little hop pack. We have Mosaic, Bitter Gold, and Centennial. Yeah, let's go ahead and put that all in here. Top back on there. Now I don't know how much, if any, oxygen is going to get into the keg, but I've done this before and I haven't had any ill effects, so I'm just going to roll with it. All right, now we are transferring to the keg. We just got a couple pounds of pressure on there coming out of this here. This is after 3 days of dry hopping and cold crushing. And just have it coming through the bouncer just to make sure we don't get any particulates coming through. It usually does a pretty good job of cleaning that up. So here's the black IPA. It's not quite black, but when I take a sample, it looks black in the glass. So for whatever reason, the light here makes it look a little brighter. But there you go. All right, so here we go. All its glory. This is the black IPA. I'm calling it Black Old Sun. First time I ever tried to brew something like this. I've actually never brewed, well, I never actually brewed an IPA before, so I figured the black IPA always enticed me because it's, you know, got a lot more malt to it, and I like malty beers. So I wanted to kind of feel what this would taste like as far as malty backbone, hop character, without it being too overly bitter. I was real careful about the bitterness on this beer because I know that there's been some IPAs that have just been hop bombs that have just completely turned me off, so I'm not interested in those. And I went around and talked to a few of you guys in brewtubers, and I really appreciate your input, and came up with a decent balance. I think this was somewhere around the 1 point as far as the BG, what is it, the BG-GR ratio. I forget what it's actually called, but it's basically the malt to bitterness ratio. So right in the middle, that way it wasn't too over the top and wasn't too much of a wuss as far as the IPA goes. So this is what I turned up with. A lot of good malts are in this. Plenty of Carolina malt again used in this. This is the first beer I've used their Sunset Wheat in, so that's an interesting one. Kind of helps with the color. I think that one came in at like 250 love bond, so definitely helped out with the color. It's supposed to impart like cocoa and chocolate and things like that to the beer. There's some roasted barley in here as well, and a bunch of other things, as you can see in the brew day footage. But yeah, it's very black. You can't see through it at all. I'm sure it's clear, you just can't see through it. The head really didn't stick around very long. It is also a higher ABV beer, so that might have something to do with it. It's almost 8%. I think it's 7.6 or 7.7. The cap is kind of sticking there. It's got some legs to it. You know, you can see hanging onto the glass. But yeah, definitely looks the part, huh? So let's see what the aroma is like. Yeah, it definitely smells more like a stout. Getting some of the hop character in there for sure. It's kind of a nice, interesting blend, but picking up more of the malt for sure in this one. Definitely getting some of that chocolate aroma from it. A lot of the darker characteristics are coming out of this, like, you know, what you would get out of like a stout or a porter, getting the roastiness from it. Yeah, certainly picking up on the roasted barley. There is half a pound in here, so that's certainly present. There's also half a pound of chocolate on top of that Sunset Wheat, so that's probably also amping up the chocolate notes in this. All right, so taste, cheers. Yeah, and to be fair, I've had a couple of these already, so this isn't the first taste of it, but this is good. This is very tolerable for me. Like I said, I'm not a huge, I don't like the super bitter beers, but this one is really, really nice. If I were to dare say balanced, it has a great malt backbone to it, and it also has a lot of hop presence in there. It's got both, and it's not bitter. It's got a little bitterness to it, which you would expect out of this, but not so much that it's off-putting. And again, these are all just my opinions, but Yeah, this is a really nice balanced beer. This was a fun one to make and a way to chew through some of the hops that I have. I've been trying to, one of my things this year I've been really trying to do is get through a lot of the inventory I still have. I typically don't like to keep hops around for any more than 3 years. So I've been really making a good dent in those hops that I have, and I've been really good. The last few beers that I've made, I've been able to use pretty much everything in inventory. I have very rarely had to go out and get any ingredients. I think I've gone out once or twice for a couple of yeast that I needed for some special beers I was trying to make. I think I bought 1 hop and maybe 1 specialty grain or 2. But most stuff I still have plenty of in the pantry, so I'm just kind of going through what I have before I restock. So this was a great beer to do that with, because there's a lot of hops in here. I forget how many total ounces are in this. Let's see here, if I could do some quick math. 3, 4, 5, 6, looks like 6 ounces of hops. All the way through 60 minutes, 30 minutes, 15, 10, flame out, dry hop, did the whole 9 yards. Yeah, and it came out great. I ended up using the Simcoe, the Bitter Gold, and the Citra together in brewing. As far as dry hop goes, I also used up the rest of my Centennial and Mosaic. And all these hops play really well together, I can tell. I tried not to go too crazy with the hops. I have plenty of off-the-wall hops from Yakima Valley that I definitely want to try and see what they're like. I just didn't want to experiment with putting some of those newer hops, less common hops, I guess maybe is the better way to put it, into something like this. And I had plenty of citrus still around. I still got plenty of Bitter Gold, so I just wanted to get through some of it. And this combination worked out well. All right. Well, we are still in March. I got plenty of brews planned out for this year. The next one that you may hear behind, I don't know if that fermenter is picking up, or this mic's picking up the ferment chamber back there, but I got my Munichelis back there. It is currently going through cold crash. So there'll be a grain to the last video coming up very shortly on that one. And still got a peanut butter and jelly beer I want to attempt to make. I got the ingredients for that. Probably gonna make some lighter stuff over the summer. I also have some collabs that I'm planning. So a little bit of a teaser there. I'm gonna do a collab with a couple guys in the brewtubers. We're still trying to figure out what exactly we're gonna brew yet, but we'll get there. Looking forward to those. And also want to thank you to our sponsors. We of course have 5-Star Chemicals. We love those guys. They keep our brewery nice and clean and sanitized. I make sure to go through everything. In fact, you'll see in my, or you would have now seen in my brew day footage, that I pulled apart the pumps prior to this brew day and gave everything a real good clean with PBW, Star Sand, the whole 9, put it all back together. And also, of course, thank you to our other sponsor, Beer and Wine Hobby, the official homebrew store of the club. And of course, come check us out, brewtubers.com. Come join us, come join the Discord. A lot of knowledgeable folks out there. We have some good chats day to day. And we have plenty of experiments, plenty of other things that we do throughout the year to make it really interesting, and a great group of guys to hang with. So with that, I think we'll leave it, and I'll see you guys on the next video. So, cheers.